we will be going over oil changes and some of the things that you need for oil changes. Hopefully by the end of this video, you will have gained some type of perspective on what is required to do an oil change, and you will either pay for one or do it yourself. But before we get into that, let me be extra and give you one of mine. So, you want to learn about oil changes? Okay, now that that's over. So here, first things first, we're going to have to gather some supplies. Every vehicle is different, so it's in your best interest to either look at your owner's manual, which usually comes with the car, but if for some reason you don't have it, you could probably find it online. So you need some gloves, you need to get the oil filter, you need to get however many quarts of oil that you need for your particular vehicle. You got the oil, you have various different types of oil pans. They also tell you how much oil that they can hold, and then you have the oil pan. So I got the oil, two different types of oil pan. I don't know the technical term for it, but this one is what I would dump the oil into to transport it to a place like AutoZone, where they'll take your oil for your car. They only take like 4 or 5 quarts. Just depends on which one you go to. So you could do that as well. And then you got the tools. You got various different type of tools you can use to remove the oil filter. If you're doing it yourself, it's some ramps. I just recently purchased these ramps that I'm going to show you in this video. And these ramps, they tell you how much they're rated for. Why is that important? Because you don't want to use some ramps and then your car is heavier than that, and then you get under there and then you have an issue, right? So like I said, you could do it yourself, know the steps, know the process, or you could take it into someone. Make sure I can get the drain plug off and the oil filter. Because if you cannot get either one of those off and then you damage it, you're gonna spend more money than you intended on that vehicle, right? Because some of these oil filters are stuck. The gasket comes off and it might melt and it's hot. I always recommend you let your vehicle cool down before starting work on it. But like if they come into like places like Jiffy Lube and Walmart to get your car serviced, they're usually not sitting there allowing the vehicles to wait a long time for it to cool off. So I would tell you, if you don't care about that, get you something to protect your arms, the sleeves. They got burn sleeves, or you can just wear long sleeve shirts and just be very careful. Identify, get your manual and look to see where the locations of these things are, because you don't want to get down there thinking you're draining the oil, then you accidentally end up draining the transmission fluid or something else. So I'm going to do a combination of two things in this video. A few years ago, I created a video on how to change your oil in the Saturn Outlook. I did that because at the time I couldn't locate where the certain items were, and then also I was doing an oil change. So I'm going to use some clips from that video, and then I'm also using some new footage as well. I'll show that video shortly. Some other things to consider before you change your oil is the cleanup. Like I said, if you get an oil pan, a drip pan, and then the container to transfer the dirty oil into, so you can take it somewhere and get it discarded, please do not drain it in the yard, the backyard, or in the drains. Don't do that. But if you do that, then you shouldn't have a mess or that big of an issue. But just in case, you should lay something down. Keep some type of absorbent, like I like to use kitty litter. If you look at any of my other videos, like when I was over the road driving trucks, I spoke about using kitty litter to put in the bucket that I used to wash up, and in case of emergencies, use the restroom if I needed to. So the kitty litter is good for a lot of things. I mean, that's what it's created for, right? To absorb the kitties doing its business, and then help easy cleanup, right? Now, first, I do not recommend you do this, especially if you lack confidence, experience, and the knowledge. For as far as myself go, I've worked in the industry, whether it's heavy equipment operating, driving trucks, working on my own personal vehicle. This is over 10 plus years of experience that I personally have. I do change my oil sometimes, and sometimes I take it and get it done by professionals. But even if you don't do it, I think it's always good to know at least what's going on.